This is London, the biggest city in the UK, known for its ethnic culture, food, history, royal palaces, and families, and so much more. For the next couple of days, I, an American, will be staying here for the first time. Will London be very similar or very different to the cities in America? To answer that question, I will go to many different places during this video, try many different amazing foods, and see what London has to offer. And study the people that call London home. Hopefully meeting a lot of cool people. With that being said, sit back, relax, and let's make it happen. That brings us to the Golden Chippy, which is one of the best fish and chip shops across London. And as you can probably already tell, everything looks incredible. So let's give it a try. When in London, you have to try fish and chips. And this is one of the best. Only one I've seen that's rated perfect 5 stars with 2,000 reviews. That's absolutely insane. And in 2016, it actually managed to hold the title of best restaurant in all of London. Considering its owner, Chris, is amazing.
Hello to the USA!
Finally got the food right here. And let me say, this is absolutely massive. Fish itself is huge. I got the cod with the side of chips and a salad, which is super cool. It's more authentic can you get with fish and chips than actually trying them in England. We're excited to try this. Let's give it a try. Fry stuff is huge. It's like steak fry. And they're really good and they're really fresh. The fish has the 3F. Fresh, flaky, and fantastic. Fish is so tender, so juicy, so soft. It easily just pulls apart, and you can tell it's incredibly fresh. It doesn't have that overpowering taste of fish, so if you don't really like fish, I think you'd be able to enjoy this. You can tell that the Golden Chippy really takes their time and puts a lot of love and care into making this, and it really shines through in the meal, and it's incredible. I really love it. And in the words of Chris,
I hope it's lit up to your expectations. Maybe you can go to TripAdvisor or somewhere and give us a nice review.
Overall, it's really good. And the thing is, I don't even like fish, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. If you get a chance, you should certainly come here. With that being said, let's move on to our next location for London, which is the London Eye. However, before that, I had a fascinating and fun journey across downtown London. I saw many cool landmarks such as Buckingham Palace, where I got to see the changing of the guard. That was unique, and I have a lot of respect for the Queen's Guard. That job seemed very interesting. Plus, the palace looked incredibly beautiful. Its architecture had a delicate note of serenity to it, and of course, the palace is incredibly historical and known for a multitude of things. As I continued my journey, I found this really cool sign. It makes me feel a bit at home. I even saw Big Ben and the Palace of Westminster, which was pretty surreal, because they are arguably the UK's most famous landmarks. Fun fact, the Big Ben's actual name is the Elizabeth Tower. The reason it's called the Big Ben is because of the bell inside. This now brings us to the next stop of the video, which is the London Eye. We're going to see how it is, and we're going to be able to see a large array of London's greater cities. While in the London Eye, you not only get these amazing views of all of London, but you also get this very informative commentary.
The next bridge along the river is Waterloo Bridge. It's often referred to as the Ladies' Bridge, as it was built during World War II. And while many men were away fighting, the majority of the workforce that built this bridge was female. It's super cool how each of these buildings have red lights on them. That's something you don't see in the US. Right behind me, you can actually see the greater city of London, more specifically the downtown area of London.
Guard right behind me. Super cool.
So we're at the top of the London Eye, or at least close to it. You don't really get a view like this, only from up here. The view is certainly worth it. I had a lot of fun on the London Eye, and with that concludes our first day here in London. So that brings us to day 2. I kicked off the second day bright and early as I continued my exploration of London. I started with exploring South Kensington and Hyde Park, which is comparable to Central Park in parts of Manhattan. And like any normal day, you start with dessert.
I went to a random London bakery in South Kensington, and this is what I got. It looks pretty interesting, so let's give it a try. After trying this is certainly a type of cream puff. It's very good. It's somewhat sweet. I really like the cream itself.
So I'm right outside Hyde Park, and I found one of the most iconic telephone booths from across the world. It's so surreal to see it in person. Hyde Park so far reminds me a lot of New York Central Park. Let's go check it out.
What's interesting is Hyde Park actually has a lot of wildlife around, and it's super cool because it's very interactive and it's something I enjoy.
I wish I had some food. I don't got any food with me. Are you hungry? Yeah, they're surrounding me. What the?
Hyde Park is really beautiful so far. far. Very calm. I didn't expect the park to be this big. It's calm, and I can see why a lot of people like to come here.
Hyde Park is home to many landmarks, such as Kensington Palace, which is very beautiful both on the inside and out, but also the Albert Memorial, which is super cool to look at. Architecturally is very cool.
What I noticed is a lot of these trees are very small in comparison to the ones that you find in Central Park or in the US that are more taller. There certainly are taller trees. But yeah, there's a larger visibility that you can see around here because of the size of the trees. They kind of look like apple orchid trees.
After that long walk around Hyde Park, I worked up quite an appetite, so I hopped on the tube and I made my way to one of the most famous food markets across the world, which is Borough Market. Borough Market is very interesting. There's a lot of cool foods from across the world that you can find here. It's very surreal to see in person, actually. I will say there's definitely food items here that are better than others, but you can certainly have a good meal here. In fact, that's what I did. I actually had the paella. I also had some chocolate-covered strawberries, which had an interesting price, a sausage roll, and a little bit of the fish and chips. Outside Borough Market is actually the Shard, which is the tallest building in all of Europe. I then hopped on a bus and made my way to St. Paul's Cathedral, which as a Christian, these places of worship really mean a lot to me. It was so beautiful and so calm and peaceful to see this in person, and you can really feel the presence of God there. For those of you who haven't gone, I really recommend you go, and you don't have to be a Christian to come check these things out. The house of God is welcome to anybody, no matter who you are. I then spent the rest of my afternoon checking out both Chinatown and the Lego store, which Chinatown was very interesting. It had a lot of different food shops and unique foods to try. And I also found this. We have Pikachu. I think he escaped. I don't know what happened. And after that, I got to go to the Lego store where I saw so many cool Lego replicas of different things like Big Ben. And whoever designed this did a fantastic job on it. It really has a lot of detailing, which is very impressive. They also had the bank from Harry Potter 2, which looks surprisingly realistic. I then made my way to the Star Wars section, which is my all-time favorite series of Lego sets ever. And there were so many cool different builds, and you can tell they put a lot of love and care into this store. Let me know down below, what's your favorite Lego to get and why? Overall, this Lego store is really cool. And after, it was time for dinner, and I made my way to one of the most famous Indian restaurants in all of London, that being Dishoom. And they have so many things here to try. I got the lamb samosas that come with 3 different chutneys, mango lassi, garlic naan, and then their special curry, which is called the chicken ruby, and then I ordered a side of rice with that. Something interesting, at least a difference between the US and the UK. In the US, most Indian restaurants, when you order the curry, it comes with the rice. However, here in the UK, if you just order the curry, you're just gonna get the curry. You have to order a side of rice with it. Each of these items were incredibly aromatic, especially the curry. They all tasted amazing in their own way. It was definitely worth it. In terms of pricing, it's a bit on the higher end, but the food itself is definitely really good. And that brings us to the final day here in London.
That being said, squad, when in London, well, you gotta get tea. Let's move on to the next one.
And that's what I did. I started off the morning of day 3 with an afternoon tea service that came with so many different pastries, finger foods, and different teas to try. This is an English delicacy, and I'm so excited to try it. And when starting off the service, they actually allow you to choose from a variety of tea across the world.
We have a whole selection here in Newbury. And what's interesting is I'm not a big tea guy.
So after smelling a bunch of these teas, I decided to choose the milk oolong tea and give that a try first. And something so cool is before you can actually drink the tea, they have a set timer that you have to wait for so all the flavors can infuse into the tea.
So this is the milk oolong tea. Let's give it a try. It's really good. Very sweet though, but in a good way.
It's also very light and refined, which is very nice.
All right, so next up we have another tea here. I got this time black tea, and this is the masala chai. Let's give it a try. It's incredible. You can taste all the different spices that are in here. So right here we have a scone, and here we have jam, and over here we have churned butter. So let's give the one with jam a try first, and let's see how it is. The jam is very rich, very sweet, very delicate, very delectable. The scone itself is very thick, and it complements it very well. Let's try it with our butter. I like the one with jam a lot, but I like this one even better. This is fantastic. The butter is very light, airy. It melts as soon as it enters your mouth, and it complements the scone incredibly well. Next up, we have a mini roast beef and pickle sandwich. So let's give it a try. Easily one of the best ones I've had. It complements things very well. The meat is very flavorful. Everything is very fresh. The brioche bun is incredibly good. I like this one. Next up, we have a mini egg croissant. So let's see how it is. The croissant itself is very flaky, very fresh. It's like a creamed egg. It's very rich. It has a very light and smooth texture to it, which complements this croissant incredibly well. Very good. Next up, we have a cucumber and cream brioche roll. Let's give it a try. It's very light, it's not overpowering at all. It actually complements, for instance, the tea very well that you'd be drinking. I think all of these in a way complement the food incredibly well. The cucumber really adds to it. It's the most important part. Last, but certainly not least, is the cream cheese salmon sandwich. So let's give this a try. Absolutely incredible. The cream cheese is very flavorful, and you don't get the notes of salmon until after, and it's not overpowering, because sometimes salmon can be a little bit overpowering depending on who's making it, but this is amazing. It's very creamy. I like it. Now let's move on to our dessert options. There's always room for dessert. So we have 4 different desserts here. This one's a strawberry tart. Let's give it a try. It's not too sweet, and the tart itself is very flaky. You can certainly get notes of strawberry, but also it's not too sweet. The cream, which I thoroughly enjoy, and it's very small. Next up, the blueberry cheesecake. So let's give it a try. There's certainly a very strong note of blueberry, but it's eloquent. It's designed in a way where all these different flavors present a unique tasting experience. Next up is their toasted cannoli, which apparently they're known for here. So let's give it a try. The cream itself has a graininess to it, and the cannoli shell has a char to it. So far, this one has the most acquired taste to it because it's similar to the char you get if you put pizza in a brick oven. It's very similar to that type of char. It's very situational. You may or you may not like it. For the final one, we have chocolate mousse pastry, and this is our final dessert for today. So let's give it a try. It's dark chocolate and it's very nutty. I'm not a big dark chocolate guy. Again, it's somewhat situational. That was pretty good. That was our tea. Let's move on to the next location, which is Brighton. It's only 47 miles south of London, but it feels so different. It reminds me a lot of the beaches of California, actually. It's crazy how much of the difference these 47 miles make. Brighton is so beautiful and has so much character, culture, and beauty to it. It's so fascinating. Brighton's also known for its artistic culture that surrounds it, and there's a lot of beautiful murals painted across the city. It's also a pretty well-known shopping center too. While there, I saw the Royal Pavilion Palace. In the mid-1780s, George, Prince of Wales, had rented out a small lodging house which overlooked parts of Brighton. At this time, Brighton was just a decaying fishing town, but it began to develop into a retreat for the rich and famous, which was still very close to London. In 1815, George commissioned John Nash to begin the transformation of the pavilion into a magnificent oriental palace that is seen today. Nash took inspiration from the subcontinent of India when creating the pavilion, as you could probably already tell, and no expense was spared on the interior, with many rooms, galleries, and corridors being carefully decorated with opulent decorations and exquisite furnishings. George himself was determined that the palace should be the ultimate in comfort and convenience. Particular attention was paid by his architect and designers to lighting, heating, and sanitation, as well as to the provision of the most modern equipment of the day for the great kitchen. And with that being said, that brings us to our final location today, which is the Chelsea Stadium tour. And it is home to an incredible collection of shirts, medals, boots, artifacts, and the trophy room, which includes 5 Premier League titles, 8 FIFA Cups, 7 Women's Super League trophies, and arguably the most iconic of all, the 2012 and the 2021 UEFA Champions League and the 2021 FIFA Club World Cup trophies. I actually got to see and sit in the chairs that they use for their press conferences, which is actually really incredible. This stadium has been standing for 119 years. While in the stadium, I actually got to do a walkout and go out near the pitch, which was very cool. It really puts into perspective how large the stadium actually is when you're right on the field. It's something you don't really get to experience at all. Cheers, London. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and check out some of the other videos. That being said, cheers, and I'll see you all soon. Peace out, London.